What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Halloween Kills breakdown, review and ending explained. This movie was of course delayed and is the second in the new Halloween trilogy, acting as a sequel to the original, ignoring the countless sequels. It has some themes from the original sequel, including Michael on a rampage after being thought dead and Laurie in hospital. But in my opinion, I find Halloween Kills much better than the original Halloween 2. Now, Kills doesn't do anything new besides warning against mob thinking and gives us a lot of flashbacks, but it lets Myers rip and tear across Haddonfield, which was immensely enjoyable. Horror today has been reinvented to subvert expectations, but we've got some slasher throwbacks over on Netflix, but this is one of the most goriest films of all time and is a pure slasher movie. Now, no one is safe from the menacing shape in this movie. You get to know people and you're like, hey, I like that oh, they're dead. I like that person. Oh, they're dead. Now, Myers looked, in my opinion, the best in this installment, and the complete lack of emotion and the way his movement works is the best at portraying him as the ultimate killer from where there is no escape. It also introduces a possible supernatural element at the end, which is a bit of a tricky line to walk. The movie largely opens at the carnage of the end of the first Halloween 2018, with Cameron finding Hawkins, who explains Myers needs to die tonight, and he could have ended it, as we flash back to Halloween night in 1978. I love this part as I have a huge soft spot for retro stuff, and we see the police officers hunt Michael Myers, and we learn how Myers actually, before he killed his sister, would simply stare at the window looking over Haddonfield, but later it's thought he would just stare at his own reflection looking inside, trying to feel something. Hawkins and his partner head to Myers' house after finding a young Lonnie who came face to face with Myers, but well, he survived as Myers simply wanted to head home. They head in as Hawkins' partner stands where Myers used to stand, is attacked by Myers as Hawkins shoots his partner to stop Michael as Michael leaves the house to a gang as officers, and Loomis, Myers' psychiatrist from the first movie, is there, but Hawkins actually stops Loomis from shooting him. In the sequels of the original movie, Loomis decided that there was no way to stop Michael kind of psychiatrically and he would have to die. But Hawkins stopped him, having sympathy for him, which was a huge mistake and led to everything that happened. The mistake led to what happened after. It was never about him, it was simply that, well, he wanted to go home and not him and Laurie. We cut to the modern day where Laurie is escaping with her family after presuming that Michael has been killed in their trap at the end, but the firefighters rush to stop the fire. I love the continuation from this scene, but I really wish that it wasn't in the damn trailer. Trailers ruin everything these days. I've avoided Last Night in Soho kind of trailers, and before this movie, the whole movie of that movie was ruined by the trailer. But it was an amazing look here, seeing Myers attack from a first person, and reminded me of those days of playing Michael Myers on Call of Duty. And something about this iteration makes him just look so much more intimidating than normal as he wipes out the firefighters and, well, heads outside. It's a bit of a theme of this movie, of Myers being surrounded by people but surviving, with the flashback, the firefighters and the mob at the end of the movie. Now, all the while, we meet Marcus and Vanessa, who I loved and I hope they survived, but this bloody movie was taking no prisoners, as Tommy leads a toast to those who were killed, as he is with other survivors of the rampage of Myers. It's short-lived as the firefighters are found, and well, so are the people who are murdered by Myers, including the drone enjoyer and her Cheez-Its husband. To be honest, I think he kind of deserved it for not having a true and proper cheese board with that lovely red wine. Tommy and co learn that evil is still in Haddonfield as Vanessa and Marcus leave as people on their street were killed, but they think Myers is in the car, and Tommy's mob starts to form as they go to take on Michael. But in reality, it is the other escaped convict, and the town is whipped up into a frenzy. Now, I didn't really like the storyline of them being led on a wild goose chase with the other escaped convict. I thought it took away from the main part of the movie, but let me know what you think in the comments. Now, as well as this, Laurie, Karen and Vanessa are at the hospital where they think they've won, only for Karen and Vanessa to be told that Myers has survived, and Cameron arrives to get Vanessa to join him and Tommy's crew, which she does against her mother's wishes as the mob split up and head around town, as the Myers home is shown to be occupied by a couple who are absolutely taunted by Halloween trick-or-treaters who steal all the treats. Now, it's key that only one kid went in the home, the Skull Kid, as Big and Little John explain the history of the house and foreshadow them being hunted by Myers and the Skull Kid being killed. But he was killed because he was the only one who went in the house. Now, the survivors, Marion and Lindsay, are with the doctors and nurse couple. They warn the kids as Myers attacks in the most brutal of fashions. Now, Lindsay survives this in such a tense scene in the park or the woods, whatever that thing is. And they're found by Tommy, and he takes her to hospital where he tells Laurie what happened, and Tommy vows revenge as back in the day she obviously helped him while the people were killed around him, and has a speech at the hospital whipping everyone up as the town wants to wipe out Myers and evil dies tonight. But they chase Tivoli, the escaped convict from earlier, thinking it is Myers as Karen tries to stop the mob, which doesn't work out at all. And, well, in an incredibly gruesome fashion and a lesson we could learn from internet hate mobs, the guy jumps out the window. While this is going on, the owners of Myers' former home are killed. I have to say, each person in this movie, while they're being set up just to be a victim of Michael Myers, they're all really fun and entertaining. There's no boring jock or high school bimbos here, and there have been some that saying that there's no scares, but, well, I thought there was a real extreme amount of tension in some of these scenes as they're killed. And I loved it when he said, "Michael, you've come home." And he's looking out the window, but turns as the camera pans out, and we see Michael turn around more as we know exactly what he's about to do. Now, I do admit that it was a bit silly that only in the final act did Lonnie mention that he's returning home. Sure, they would have known that from the pattern of the previous movie. But Cameron, Vanessa and Lonnie head there as Michael brutally murders Lonnie and kills Cameron again. This is a savage movie. This really was very much the Empire Strikes Back, the absolute downer with no happy ending. Vanessa was a badass as she said, "Come and get me," and stabs him as Karen saves the day by stabbing him with a pitchfork. Now that's really, really cool, as one of the Johns earlier, when they thought that Myers was the trick-or-treaters from earlier in the movie, says, "Next time I'm coming with a pitchfork." Karen steals the mask and leads him to a beatdown, and I loved the real low light being shown from the car headlights. It just looked amazing as they beat down on him. However, Hawkins explained earlier that it wasn't Laurie Myers was obsessed with, but it was Sartain's obsession to reunite them. And Laurie says how he's more than human. He clearly gains the strength from the fear, and I presume his survival is some sort of adrenaline coursing through his veins, some kind of like apex predator style incredible biology, as he stands up and kills everyone and heads to his favourite spot and kills Karen right there. That was shocking. I adored this movie from start to end. The audience I was watching it with were loving every second of it. It was a stunning movie, a real barnstormer, as it was nice. It's a trilogy. Just look at this like a trilogy, and you had the setup in the first one, and then you had the rampage. You had the Helm's Deep battle here with this one, and then you're going to get the final showdown between Laurie and Michael Myers. But that is it for this video, so please do drop a like down below. Do subscribe with notifications on if you want more from us, and I'll be back, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.